Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this insightful panel discussion on waste management and circular economy from waste to wealth, driving the circular economy for a sustainable future. In an era where sustainability is no longer a choice but a necessity, today's panel brings together visionaries and change makers who are redefining how we view and manage waste. Together, they will explore how innovation, policy, and collaboration are shaping a more circular and sustainable world. Let me take a moment to introduce our esteemed panelist, Mr. Puneet Anand, AVP and Vertical Head of Corporate Affairs, Corporate Communication and Social at Hyundai Motor India Limited. Could you please join us on the stage? Mr. Vinod Solanki, Senior Manager at Waste Warriors. Then Mr. Yashwant Deval, Area Director, India and Bangladesh, River Recycle. And moderating this dynamic session is Dr. Abhinav Mathur, Advisor to the Board, Attero Recycling.
Good. It's still morning, so good morning, everyone. And it's a pleasure to be sitting with such a panel and to be able to discuss a topic which is extremely important, something which I came to know only maybe 3 to 4 years ago. But that has now started to resonate significantly with myself, and whatever I'm seeing around, I think it's a very, very relevant topic. And in fact, when we look at circularity, I think the relevance of circularity has only increased. But very quickly, I'm Abhinav. I'm a PhD from IT Delhi and MBA from IIM Lucknow. Did my PhD in computer sciences, but I'm in a space which is very different from what I was educated for. And for the past, I think more than 11 years, now I've been mostly on an entrepreneurial journey. And I've done, a not-for-profit in education. I've done work in grocery retailing. I've done work in news and media and entertainment, and I've done work in recruitments as well. But most satisfying is the work that I'm doing at this point in time, where I'm trying to figure out what can we do with the large amount of waste which is happening. And it's not waste because it contains so much rich material and which can be put back to use. And if we can do that in an effective and an efficient manner, not only will there be, no mountains of, waste that we see all around, but we can actually start to use that very significantly. What is most encouraging, and I'm sure that each one of these gentlemen as well in their companies are starting to see that the government is starting to go behind and trying to push for circularity more and more. And if you look at it, there have been 3 instances that I've seen the Prime Minister himself speaking about this from the Red Fort itself, where he's saying that circularity is extremely important. He has given the slogan around Swachh Bharat, which is extremely important, which becomes a part of and blends into circularity itself. In fact, for the past 2 years, what we are seeing the government do, and I've been actively a part of the government in the sense I was a senior advisor to the Vice Chairman Niti Aayog for a couple of years, and there I saw personally the amount of effort and energy which is going to try to figure out how we can make the most out of the waste which is lying around. In the past 2 years, the government has come up with things like National Critical Minerals Mission. I don't know how many of people sitting in this room and maybe on this, podium also realize that if you look at a smartphone or if you look at a laptop, there are close to 60 elements of the periodic table which are there. And they will go waste if we do not have technologies, if we do not have the intent, if we don't make the investments to extract them back and put them back to productive use. And not only that, but they will also be very, very harmful for the environment. And that is one thing which the government has really cracked, and they are now starting to ensure that all of these materials can be brought into the production itself. And I will not say that it's just on the behest of the government, but I think the geopolitics of this is also extremely significant. So if you look at all around you, and there is a gentleman from Hyundai over here, you will see that there is a lot of push around EVs. But when you make an EV, the motors require materials like neodymium, duodymium, prosidium. If you look at the battery of the EV, right, you will require things like lithium, cobalt, nickel, manganese, and such elements which are required to produce these batteries. And there is no availability of these materials in India. More than 90% of these critical minerals are actually owned and rather controlled by China, which is not really our friendly, neighbor or whatever. And they are now starting to flex their muscles, and they are starting to ensure that they command the respect or the power which comes with owning those many critical minerals. So that is something that we are seeing, and they have started to ban a lot of these material. But as we go along, we'll probably explore not just, what I'm talking about from a critical mineral standpoint, but there are very simple things also which have been done. But before that, I would like that each of the gentlemen would introduce themselves, introduce their companies and the focus that they have on circularity. We'll obviously delve deeper subsequently, but if they can spend 2 to 3 minutes just exploring, just introducing the area, and then we can take it from them. Puneet, if you could possibly.
So first of all, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Abhinav, for starting the event on a very right note. And I also like to thank CASCA and the CSRUniverse for creating this platform. In fact, all of us sitting in this room here has realized that today we 23rd April, and yesterday was 22nd April, which is also the World Earth Day. Now, this World Earth Day, which is the 55th World Earth Day, has a lot of significance considering India now becoming as a very strong developing economy. And why I'm saying so is because the consumption patterns which have evolved over the Western continents have been very strongly adapted by India, and the kind of consumption and the kind of infrastructure development which we are seeing in India, definitely the time has come for us to realize as a humans of this country that it is the responsibility of ours also to contribute to the society, not only in terms of some social values, but also in terms of for our future generations. The next children who will be coming, whether they'll be seeing these blue skies or not, these all responsibilities lie in our hand. At Hyundai, we have a vision which is called Progress for Humanity. And that vision is enshrined into our 3 pillars under which we are doing various social value jobs. The first pillar itself is the pillar of earth. And the earth, very rightly mentioned, means how we can give back to the society, how we can contribute to the Mother Earth and give it back the original glory which we had, so many years back. The second pillar is the pillar of mobility, which is basically our core business. And the third pillar is the pillar of hope, which is very important from the Indian mindset, because we have 70% of our people living in, rural areas. They are many have-nots. So how we can add value to their hopes so that they can become a respectable citizen, they can earn livelihood, they can become a respectable citizen of this country. So I won't be talking much today in terms of mobility, but there are some areas which I will touch upon, and also about the hope. But our large discussion today will be in the area of earth, which I will be sharing during the course of time. I am actually Associate Vice President taking care of government relations, corporate communication, and also creating shared values. That's the kind of vertical which I'm heading. And over the last 28 years, I've been with Hyundai. All of you know Centro. So I am with Hyundai since the time the Centro was yet to be born. So right from January 98, I've seen the transition, and it's a very happy journey till today, because we have seen the company grow from 8,000 cars in 1998 to now 650,000 cars last year. And that's all because of the love and the respect and the trust which the people of this country have given us. We are the largest cumulative exporter from this country with our second largest domestic player. And we are also adding a lot of value to Make in India program. But under all these big numbers which I'm telling you, there is one very strong vision, Progress for Humanity, which we have been practicing not now, but 25 years back. And I'll tell you, in 2006, actually we started something called as a HMIF, Hyundai Motor India Foundation. The main theme of this foundation was to give it back to the society. So today, whatever we may be doing is basically a culmination of those 26 years of hard practices which we learned from our global expertise, from our Indian expertise, and how we have been able to channelize those experiences into some of the benefits for the society. For example, I'll just give you a very simple case, and I remember that time I used to be in customer care, and I used to take care of the service operations. We had actually started our exports from our country, and to do that, we needed to import some material from various parts of the world. Some components used to come, and those components were coming in wooden boxes. We used to discard those wooden boxes, give it at scrap. But then we realized, can we make some use of this material? Can we recycle? Can we reuse? Can we rework this material? And that was the time when all this wooden material we kept with ourselves. We hired one carpenter in our factory, and today, even today, that function is operating. All these discarded wooden boxes we recycled them and made into benches and desks. And we donated those benches and desks to the nearby schools of public, government schools. And I'm very happy to share that till today, we have donated more than 45,000 benches and desks to these children so that they can become a respectable citizen. And all of it is nothing but a circular economy. This is something which we felt that, and not only this, we have been recycling so many other things, in fact, including the water. In our factory, we have 6 ponds. These 6 ponds have the capacity to hold around 350,000 lakh metric tons of water. That means that if, unfortunately, there is no rain in Tamil Nadu, for next 4 months, that pond can sustain our livelihood in terms of our manufacturing operations. So we are also doing lot of rainwater irrigation, lot of recycling the water. We are also using TTRO water. Some of you may be aware of what is a TT, it's a treated water. So for our general cleaning purpose, we don't use natural water. We use treated water so that it can add to the society and we do not waste water, which is a very precious and resource which slowly is getting depleted. These are some of these things which we actually have been doing in the plant. We are actually going to be renewable energy 100 by 2025. Already we are at around 70%. By the end of this year, we'll be RE 100 at our Tamil Nadu plant 1 and both the plant 2s. That means that we are also working towards ensuring that whatever energy we use in our plant, either it is solar energy, wind energy, or it is all the renewable energy. So, very exciting times, but I think lot of responsibility on all of us to ensure that we give it back to the society. There are many other examples. In fact, on yesterday, on the World Earth Day, we started a very noble concept. I wanted to just share with you because this is important for the people of NCR. You know, when we enter Delhi, we see a very big mound of garbage, which is such a bad sight. But this garbage is not only in Delhi. Even in Gurgaon, you know that Faridabad-Gurgaon highway, there's again garbage dump. So in 2022, we discussed with Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon that we have a technology with which we can, if not 100%, but at least part of that garbage, we can stop from going to the landfill. And we created a concept called Ecogram by Hyundai. This Ecogram, if some of you may know, there is a hospital in Gurgaon by the name Paras Hospital. Just across Paras Hospital, there is a land parcel of around 12,000 square feet, which was allotted to us by Municipal Corporation of Gurgaon. During the last 3 years, we have created a marvelous facility over there, which has 3 different sections. First section is the section we are converting wet waste. So we have around 20 bulk waste generator whom we have a tie-up. So we are collecting wet waste from the RWA societies, from offices, from canteens, from big restaurants, and that wet waste is being put into that unit wherein it is converted into biogas, and that biogas is converted into electricity. And every day we have the capacity to produce 200 kilowatts of electricity, which is used to run that entire station. So we are totally energy neutral over there. The second part of this station is called the MRF, or the Material Recovery Facility. 5 tons of dry waste every day is coming to that facility, which includes plastic, metal, and so many paper. Everything is primarily segregated. We have employed only women labor over there, so that they can also get a good livelihood. You must see that model. I think day before yesterday, we had a media event over there. You can all cover and check in the Google. You can see the videos also, that how we are converting a waste. That was a landfill site, but now it's become a completely and purely generating 0 carbon emission. Why? Because that material, 7 tons of material, otherwise would have traveled to that landfill using trucks or some kind of transport. Now all of that is coming to our Ecogram, and we are reusing over there. And the third area which we have created, which is one of the challenge, is called Arthshala. In that area, around 2,000 square feet, we have converted into a school, wherein we are inviting the children from nearby schools and telling them the importance of recycling and waste management. Till date, around 1,100 students have already come, and they have understood that what is waste management, why it is important for us, why it is beneficial for the society. So, in terms of educating and in terms of practical, if we are able to create such ecograms in various parts of the country, I think our issues of these landfills will be taken care of. And using technology, we will be able to achieve our vision of a clean India, green India. That's what I think, in nutshell, I would like to talk about, but there are many other examples which I'll subsequently cover during the course of the day.
Sure. Thank you, Puneet, for that. It's amazing to see the kind of work that is being put in. Especially, it's satisfying to see that not only are you doing work, but you're also generating wealth out of it. You're also ensuring that education is of children is also happening so that they understand that primarily we as humans are the people who are actually generating waste, and if we are more responsible towards our consumption and towards ensuring that we reuse more things, it is definitely going to be helpful. But on that note, I have a couple of questions and follow-up questions which I'll maybe subsequently ask you. But Yashwant, I would love to understand from you, what is the work that has been put in? Because, we keep on hearing about the fact that, the rivers, and we see ourselves, at least in Delhi, what is happening to the Yamuna. We are extremely concerned. All of us remain very concerned because we are drinking water from some of these sources, and we see that there is a lot of pollution over there, and not only in the waters, but that is finally reaching the seas. And for an ecological balance, water and the water cycle is extremely, extremely important. So would love to understand from you, what is it that you do at River Cycle, and what do you see happening in the area of waste which is getting generated or accumulated into the rivers, and how is that being put back into a circular economy, and the resources that there are getting used? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Abhinav. Good morning, everybody. One thing I would like to, ask all of you, that after we complete our introduction and, we share what we do, I would like to have more questions from the audience, actually. I want to make it more interactive so we understand what you want to know and where we can connect with each other, actually. So this is the missing part, Abhinav, actually. What is happening is that biggest missing part is that we all have got habit of working in the silos, actually. That collaboration is not happening. So that is a big gap. So I belongs to a company called River Recycle. We are a Helsinki, Finland-based organization. And we are working in India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Ghana, Vietnam. And I'm primarily responsible for India and Bangladesh operation. We have a very holistic approach to stop the plastic getting into marine life. As you all know that it is the creek, canal, drains, and somewhere we call the rivers. I have not seen any river in the urban area in entire Asia, actually. All of them been converted into the drains, actually. And whatever we call drain is originally a canal, actually, whether it's a Najafgarh drain or any Kalindi Kunj or anything. So what we do is we have our own patent technology for collecting the floating debris. We segregate them, collect the plastic, convert that into the resource through mechanical and chemical recycling, and bring back money into the system so it will remain sustainable. In most of the development projects, what happens that till the time you keep pumping in money, it will survive. The moment you withdraw, it will collapse. So we don't want that. And coming back to the waste management problem, actually, since we are dealing with the waste, floating waste, so biggest problem is that till the time it is in the water body, it is nobody's responsibility, actually. The moment we pick it up, it becomes the responsibility of municipal corporations. And that is what they don't want to do, actually, because they don't have capacity, they don't have resources to tackle that. So that is the biggest problem, where we need some kind of a policy intervention. And when we talk about the policy intervention, there are, to handle the plastic. See, I tell you, plastic is not a problem. If we look at the positioning and the versatility of the plastic, it is the low value and zero value plastic which is the great problem, actually. And we are focusing only on the zero value plastic. We convert that into the resource and bring back into the system. Since Puneet is here, they are doing fantastic job. And I was talking to him earlier, and we will have a more discussion one-on-one. I give you, Puneet, one example. We all have our own cars, actually. In the boot, we have plyboard, actually. That can be replaced with the recycled plastic board, actually, easily, no problem with that. Secondly, all interiors of your, car showrooms can be converted from the recycled plastic. Because what is happening is that earlier, there was a gap between virgin plastic raw material and recycled plastic material because of the process cost. Now we are at par, actually. But I work with the government also, and I don't believe in giving subsidies, actually. Mostly they are misused. But we can increase the volume. I give you one small example. I was talking to Railway Authorities Board, and I was telling them you generate hell lot of plastic waste every day, actually. And you have ample spaces. You can have your own mechanical or chemical recycling facilities. And we have 135 kilometers of railway track. And 10% of that is our length of our platforms in India, and all the kiosks and the furniture has to be made from the recycled plastic, so that we can give the volume to the manufacturers actually. What is happening is that, why it is not working. You look at the e-waste, it picked up 5 years actually. And here, problem is that there is no market available for these things. So short-term solution is that we should create a market for recycled plastic. And then mid-term is that we should have some options available to replace the plastic usage. And every day we are increasing the usage of plastic. We used to have 2-liter mineral water bottle, 1 liter, we have 500 ml, now 200 or 100 ml. So I don't know, at one side we are talking about reducing plastic consumption, but we are increasing unknowingly. All these Zomato and they are using packaging. So this is where we need to have a policy intervention. Second thing is policy formation and then implementation and practice of the policy. I was talking to Puneet about ELVs. ELV does not consider plastic into that actually. So that is the missing part. It has to be part of that ELV policy where they have to use a certain percentage of plastic for their manufacturing. I think there is one law they are trying to bring in 20% or something like that. So that is one thing. Then my request to all the CSR fraternity is that when you fund any project where you have to deal with the complexity of the environment and you have to work on the behavior of the people, because waste problem is a behavioral problem, nothing else actually. So you should give bare minimum 3 years time for your projects actually. 1 year can be the your pilot phase, and then a scale up phase based on that. So this is my request to the CSR fraternity. Second thing is that when we talk about the rivers, we all know that we have CRZ, Coastal Regulation Zone, which handles the complexity of the coastal area. But on river, there is no single authority. There is a hydro, there is a Jal board, there is a municipal corporation, then many different irrigation is there. And when we choose any project, they don't come along actually. So you deal with the municipal corporation because they are the first customer, because they are responsible for solid waste management. Then, other authorities, they will not appear till the time you don't do any kind of installation. So that is a problem. That is where that intergovernmental or interdepartmental coordination has to be there as a policy framework, because we all are talking about Yamuna because it has become the political agenda now. But I want to throw a question to me and all of you is that we always believe that on the Chhat Puja, around that, we consider Yamuna as a holy river. All 365 days we don't talk about it. We keep throwing the garbage. And second thing is, when we have a policy formation, that community and academia has to be integral part of that framework. Why? Because we are dealing with the rivers in entire Asia, and I have not seen a single report which tells me that how much is floating and what all is floating in these water bodies. So it is very difficult for me to come out with a technological intervention on that. And coming back to technology, technology is a very small tool basically. So if I have to treat, let's say, Yamuna or Najafgarh drain or Kalindi Kund drain, it has to be different technology. Upstream it has to be different, downstream and middle stream. So we cannot use the same technology at all 3 points actually. So that is another problem, because every state is coming out with a river rejuvenation, and river floating debris is not part of that rejuvenation. I don't know how can you rejuvenate and second thing, we need to change the terminologies. Human cannot rejuvenate nature actually. Let the river flow, it will rejuvenate our life and everything, bring back the ecosystem. So there are a lot of things as the movement develop, we will talk about it. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yashwant, and I'm glad that you pointed out a lot of problems and issues which are around. I'll come back to you with a couple of questions, and maybe you could probably think about it as as the rest of the speakers are speaking. But you're talking about floating issues, right? But in my view, the more dangerous things are what is getting mixed into the water and it's still flowing with the water. what is being done in that area. Maybe, you can touch upon it, you can think about it, maybe you can answer subsequently. But in the meantime, I would like to go to Vinod, right? And, we have been speaking and you have been very clear that you would like to speak more about what is happening on the ground, what is happening at scale, what is being done to ensure that there is better understanding of, sort of circularity and the waste management as a discipline in the masses. So would love for you to actually, explain and maybe share with the group as to what is Waste Warriors, what's your background, and what is it that you guys are doing to ensure that things are happening on the ground itself.
Thank you, and I'm happy to hear, and I would like to thanks to CASCA, M3M Foundation, and CSRUniverse for this platform. So, well, my name is Vinod Solanki, and it's been a decade I'm working in social development sector. I was in education thematic area. So then I realized myself too that waste management is something we all need to think about. And it's been close to 2 years I'm working in waste management society. I'm working in waste management domain. So I'm working in an organization called Waste Warrior Society. And the society which I'm working in was founded in 2012 with an ambitious mission to clean up eco-sensitive area in Indian Himalayan region. So we are total 200 warriors working in Himachal and Uttarakhand. And we all love पहाड़. जैसे इधर गर्मी आती है हम सब पहाड़ों में भागते हैं. And हम पहाड़ पे वहाँ पहुँच जाते हैं जहाँ से वेस्ट वापस लाना बहुत बड़ी समस्या हो जाती है. क्योंकि मैं ग्रास रूट पे काम कर रहा हूँ. जो 200 वॉरियर्स से वी ऑल आर वर्किंग एट ग्रास रूट लेवल. सो एंड ड्यू टू दिस लाइक टूरिज्म एक्टिविटीज़ और जो इंडियन हिमालयन रीजन में जो भी हो रहा है, annually 8.4 million tons of waste we are generating in Indian Himalayan region, and which is mostly 60% only dump and burnt. And we all are sitting here and talking circular economy, which is very heavy word to understand. I think people who are sitting here in the hall, we all can understand, relate this. But while we go to like a rural area and then we talk about circular economy, then it's a very heavy word to understand. Okay, what is actually it is. And usually in Himachal and Uttarakhand, around 5 million people attract annually. They go and visit there. So, it's quite challenging, the organization who are already working in the Indian Himalayan regions for waste management. And if I talk since 2012, we have diverted approx 6,000 metric ton from the landfill. So it's a huge number, and it's the all 200 warriors who are working in the organizations. It's because of their efforts we have make it done. We are working in rural area. Our focus is in rural area. We are working in 20 panchayats in Uttarakhand. And if I talk in Uttarakhand, there is a something 7,500 panchayats, and we are working in 20 panchayats. And what is happening with waste in other panchayats, nobody knows. We all don't know about that. What is happening with the waste over there. Himachal, we are working in 26 panchayats. And there is also approx 3,000 panchayats something in Himachal Pradesh. So it's quite challenging. Then we all are working, because when we talk about policies, then policies are there. But when we talk about implementation, then we all know then how they are getting implementing in the field, and how we can make people understand about that policies, so they can understand that they can also, because we know that circular economy is a sustainable concept. We know that nothing is waste. We want that everything is get circular, that people reuse it, reduce it, and then rethink and recycle it. But while I was seeing everybody was using disposals, while we taking tea and coffee, we are somehow generating waste. So when we talk about reduce, then how frequent we are thinking on that? हम क्या सोच रहे हैं उस पर कि हम ही डिस्पोजल्स यूज़ कर रहे हैं. मैं बात करूं कि मेरी कंपनी में 200 वॉरियर्स हैं. We all keep our cutlery together while we travel. If you see there in my bag, you find a cup, you find a plate, you find a spoon, you find my own water bottle. So it's a small practice, but we can all implement. Because the cups the disposals we are using, it's also harmful for environmental as well as for our health, because it's also coating a plastic coating while you see it. So it's both like creating our health is also making problem for us, and is also making problem for environment. And we all are aware, but still we are doing. So practice behavior change. So we are dealing with behavior change in rural India, because people think कि waste problem ही नहीं है उनका. They think कि जलाने से solution दूर हो जाएगी. अगर वो इकट्ठा हो गया and then they are blaming each other कि ये आपका waste है, ये मेरा waste है. But उनके हिसाब से सबसे best solution है कि इसको आग लगा दो, खत्म. And we know which lead a climate change and global warming. Air pollution, water pollution, all things this been leading. So I'll be talking more about how waste to wealth we are working, how waste warrior is like working on that, and what hurdles we are facing implementing circular economy at the ground level. So I will be talking that. Thank you.
Why don't you maybe spend a couple of minutes just explaining what you do?
Okay. So when we think about waste, so we all think that जो waste में काम करते हैं वो लोअर क्लास के लोग होंगे या फिर कम पढ़े लिखे लोग होंगे, ये हमारे माइंड में आता है. अगर कोई वेस्ट उठा रहा होता है तो हम सोचते हैं कि शायद ये कम पढ़ा लिखा होगा या फिर किसी लोअर क्लास का लोगों का. तो ये सोशल स्टिग्मा और सोशल टैबूज जो हमारे माइंड में सेट है, इनसे हम लोग अपने आप को ब्रेक नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. सो देयर इज ए स्टोरी ऑफ चेंज इन माय ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एंड वी कॉल दैट ए पर्यावरण सखी मॉडल, a project which I'm leading, which I'm overseeing, that called a Paryavan Sakhi model. And this is a community lead solution for waste management. So we have developed a Paryavan Sakhi model in which rural women of diverse background come together to form self-help group and provide door-to-door waste collection service to household and commercial establishment. And these women belongs to different caste. They are from Brahman, they are from Rajputs, they are from different casteisms. But it was not easy for them. Social stigma ऐसा था कि लोग उनको ये बोलते थे कि क्या यही काम बचा है कि तुम्हारे लिए, तुम तो ब्राह्मण हो, ऐसा कर ही नहीं सकते, तुम तो राजपूत हो, ऐसा कर ही नहीं सकते, ये तो और ही लोगों का काम होता है. But they fight with their families, they fight with like जो जिस समाज में वो रह रहे हैं, और अपनी पंचायत में ही वो काम करना, अपनी पंचायत में ही वो काम करना, अपनी पंचायत का अपना घर का ही कूड़ा उठा के लेके आना. सो जो ये पर्यावरण सखी मॉडल है, ये बड़ी पावरफुल वुमेन्स है, दे आर वेरी पावरफुल वुमेन्स, दे बिलोंग्स टू डिफरेंट कास्ट, दे हैव ए वेरी गुड बैकग्राउंड, इकोनॉमिकल बैकग्राउंड, बहुत अच्छा फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है. बट दे रियलाइज़ कि ये प्रॉब्लम है मेरी पंचायत की, इसको मैं सॉर्ट आउट करूँगा या सॉर्ट आउट करूँगी. तो ये जो महिलाएं हैं निकल के आई, टोटल 30 महिलाएं हैं, टोटल 30 वुमेन्स है, दे आर वर्किंग फॉर इन वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट. 23 इन कॉर्बेट, जहाँ पे बहुत से लोग जाते हैं कॉर्बेट टाइगर रिजर्व देखने के लिए, सफारी करने के लिए और वहाँ वेस्ट छोड़ने के लिए भी. और इसके अलावा सहस्त्रधारा देहरादून, इट्स अ वेरी फेमस स्पॉट इन सहस्त्रधारा में देहरादून. 7 पर्यावरण सखी वहाँ पे हैं. सो टोटल 30 पर्यावरण सखीज दे आर वर्किंग, एंड एनुअली दे आर ऑल्सो डाइवर्टिंग 100 metric tons of waste from landfill. These 30 women. And we believe that this model can be replicable. This model can be replicable at Pan India and a very success model. And when I talk about wealth, they are also earning wealth. They are earning they are collecting user fee. They are collecting, they are also earning from SOR, sell of recyclable. When they sell recycling products, they are earning money from that. But problem is still with the behavior change, because we are working in 20 panchayat in Uttarakhand, only around 40 to 50% people are giving us waste, not 100%. And while I say only 40 to 50% people are giving us waste, so it is only 40% and 50% people they are giving waste. So that is 20 metric tons monthly we are diverting, only with 40%. It's a 20 metric ton waste we are diverting. If it is a 100%, definitely it will be a 40 metric ton. But I'm talking only about 20 panchayats. So what about 7,580 panchayats? So if I multiply, then where 15,000 metric ton waste is going? Because I'm talking only about 20 panchayats. So जो 15,000 किलो metric ton waste है वो कहाँ जा रहा है? Nobody knows. उस पर हम लोग बात नहीं कर रहे क्या हो सकता है. फिर we all aware that we talk about EPRs. अभी पुनीत सर भी थोड़ी देर पहले बाहर हम बात कर रहे थे कि अभी अप्रैल से EPR लागू हो जाएगा. But EPR is not like a geographical area के हिसाब से नहीं है. अगर मैं बात करूं कि पहाड़ में जाके और कचरा वापस लेके आना है मैन्युफैक्चर को, तो उसका कॉस्ट बढ़ जाएगा. तो वो पहाड़ में नहीं जाएगा, वो दिल्ली से ही उठा लेगा अगर उसको EPR को फुलफिल करना है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फुलफिल करना है. तो देयर शुड बी सम अमेंडमेंट की जोग्राफिकल बेस पे इंडियन हिमालयन रीजन के लिए कुछ इंक्लूड हो. अब मैं बात करूं कि सैनिटरी वेस्ट की. सैनिटरी वेस्ट इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड इन NPR. और सैनिटरी वेस्ट एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. इन देहरादून देयर इज 100 वार्ड्स. हम एक वार्ड में काम कर रहे हैं 97 वार्ड में, जहाँ पे लगभग 3000 किलो सैनिटरी वेस्ट आता है पूरे महीने का. एंड वी आर पेइंग 2.5 लाख रुपीज़ प्रोसेस के लिए दे रहे हैं उसको. एक वार्ड की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं. अगर 100 वार्ड की बात करूँ तो 2.5 करोड़ रुपए हो जाएगा एक महीने के, क्योंकि वो बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है. देयर इज ए नो एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी की वो रिसाइकिल हो सके, उसको रिसाइकिल किया जा सके, उसके लिए कोई सोल्यूशन मिल सके. एंड दीज वुमेन विच आई वॉज टॉकिंग अबाउट पर्यावरण सखी मॉडल्स. सो बियॉन्ड लीडिंग वेस्ट, दे आर ऑल्सो अवेयरिंग वुमेन्स, दे आर ऑल्सो अवेयरिंग कम्युनिटी फॉर सोर्स सेग्रीगेशन, बिकॉज सोर्स सेग्रीगेशन इज मैन पार्ट. हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि कौन अलग अलग करेगा कूड़ा, एक जगह डाल देते हैं. ऑन सम टाइम व्हाट हैपन्स विच आई फेल्ट कि मैंने 2 बैग्स दिए और जिसने लिया उसने एक बैग में डाल दिया. सो सोर्स सेग्रीगेशन की बात करें कि मैंने गीला अलग किया, सूखा अलग किया, मैंने उसको दिया, उसने एक ही बैग में डाल दिया. या फिर हम घर पे कौन सूखा गीला अलग करे एक साथ डाल देते हैं. एंड विच इज लीडिंग टू फिल लैंडफिल्स. अगर मैं लैंडफिल की बात करूँ तो आई वॉज इन ए CSC फॉर ए ट्रेनिंग. तो मैंने देखा कि वहाँ पे जो फिगर्स बता रहे थे कि 1300 मिलियन टन्स वेस्ट लेगेसी वेस्ट पड़ा हुआ है. इट बिकॉज ऑफ वी आर नॉट डूइंग सोर्स सेग्रीगेशन. सो इट्स ए ह्यूज नंबर. अब कितना लैंड फिल कर रखा होगा. देयर इज ए लाइक ए मोर देन 3000 लैंडफिल साइट्स जो उस वेस्ट ने कवर अप कर रखा है. सो इट्स ए लाइक ए बिग इशू. सो वी हैव टू थिंक ऑन दैट.
Sure.
थैंक यू.
Thank you very much, Vinod, for that. And it's always encouraging to see that there is, sort of light at the end of the tunnel. At least 20 people are working, and there is some amount of, waste which is getting stopped at the source itself. And it's encouraging to hear that you are saying that there is a model and there could be a possibility of actually replicating that and scaling that. Maybe we'll come to that if we have time. But for the moment, Yashwant, would love for you to comment upon 2 things. One is one thing is floating waste, right? Given that you have such a large experience, it's a large organization which is working towards river, river cleaning. So would love to understand from you as to what is being done for things which are getting sort of dissolved in the water itself. Is there any solution that your company offers? And second, as to, what are the models? I mean, in your previous conversation or when you were speaking, you're talking about that there should be policy interventions. These are the problems which are there. But I would love for you to focus on the solutions that your organization has found in India, internationally as well, given that you have a larger scope. What are the solutions which have worked really well, and how that waste which is getting accumulated or collected by you is getting converted into something of value, and what could be done in India, and is there something which has already started to be done in India, and how can that be scaled?
Thank you, Abhinav. Coming back to sustainability of these projects, actually, I would like to share some of the examples. See, in Indonesia, Philippines, and partially in India, what we do is we convert that into the plastic boards. And from plastic board, you can make anything like furniture or whatever you want to. And since our first partner is the municipal corporation, I give you an example. Every municipal corporation has got n number of parks, and they have schools also, government schools, like MCD has got a lot of, and DMC also has. So they can use these plastic boats, and bus shelters can be made out of it. See, it is only thing is that, waste to value is a long process. It's a very long journey. But somewhere we have to start, actually. So it is about whatever waste we have, what best we can utilize this. So that is one thing which we do, actually. And from chemical recycling, we convert that into the pyrolysis oil. And we have set up a distilling unit in Lonavala, in near Bombay, where we are purifying it further. And we are doing research to use this purified oil to be used as a packaging material back, actually. So talking about the circular economy for the plastic, but this is going to be a very long journey, because we have to produce tonnage of oil from plastic waste, which is going to happen in 10 years time or something. But mechanical recycling is something which is workable, and it is working in Indonesia, Philippines, and India also. So that's one thing. And secondly, what was your second question, actually?
I was saying that what about the material which gets dissolved?
Okay, so I give you one example. I know about Rajasthan because I have my roots in Udaipur. So recently we all have come up with the cloth bags. So I always say that every solution is solution if you have understood the problem correctly. So most of these cloth bags are made from the polyester bag material, which dissolves much faster than LDP, HDP, and other fraction of plastic. So we have to choose wisely. That's one thing. Secondly, when we talk about some kind of a solutions or alternates for this, I always say that it is basically the community. They have the know-how actually, because they are the one. Because if we talk about Indian context, you name it actually. You talk about organic, you talk about sustainability, you talk about circularity. We used to have these in practice actually. So all these thoughtless urbanization had delinked everything actually. And we never had definition of waste actually. Even we used to recycle the hair also, right? We come from that. So I always say that there are a lot of local solutions actually, which community can use, like making art and craft of these out of these waste material that will incentivize the community, because it's a behavioral problem. And secondly, till the time you don't incentivize the community, they will not connect.
But my question, I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
my question was as to what happens to the dissolved waste, what is inside the water. Does your organization have any solutions for that?
No, we don't have, River Recycle does not have, but entire Nordic countries, including Finland, are expertise in water technologies actually. So we have a LAMOR, which is a pioneer organization. They are working on the oil spill in the oceans actually. So we have all the liquid waste management solutions tested and trusted. So as I said initially, that we all have to collaborate actually, because I am focusing only on the floating debris, which is drop in the ocean. Yes. So now what we have done is that all of us, we have come together as an integrated solution for the entire problem in that water body actually. Understood. So it is more. And then secondly, come back to the policy framework, is still government approach towards the water body is very selfish. They want to treat COD, BOD because they want to use this water. Beyond that, they don't consider anything. So that is where, as I said, that we have to have some policy interventions which gives space to all the technology solution providers to come together and resolve the problem. Because if you resolve this in bits and pieces, we will not be able to do anything actually. Sure. And coming back to Yamuna, I would like to share that none of the river is having anything of its own actually. If you have to clean Yamuna, Yamuna is absolutely clean. You go 50 kilometer out or 50 kilometer this side, it is 22 kilometer periphery where we have all these drains. This is the problem. So still people are talking about Yamuna, but they are not talking about the origin of this, all the dirt or chemical composition coming into this. So that's
sure. Yeah. Thanks. So, Puneet, just to continue the conversation that we were having, you gave extremely great examples with regards to the work that Hyundai is putting in. And, you also talked about ecogram, and you talked about the fact that, that's a replicable model and you can actually do something about it. So my question is, when you guys have done such great work, why is that work not available for other people to copy that models, maybe in an open source way? See, I come from software. Yeah. What the largest progress which has happened in the world has happened because of open source models, right? How can we create open source models of the kind that you have put in so that more industry, more societies, more municipalities can adopt these, so that there is greater understanding and lesser waste around? So that's one. And second, how can policy help? Have you seen, how do you compare, since it's a global organization that you have, how do you compare the policies in India with policies internationally? Do you think we are progressive, and are we progressing towards the right direction in terms of policy? And how can Hyundai scale whatever work you're doing by open sourcing whatever it has done?
So thank you. So I think it's a very, very important question, and I'll answer your second question first. See, when I started, I told you that India is now becoming a developing economy. We are rapidly progressing towards the Western culture. Now, it's not that policy is not there in India, but yes, we are seeing the emergence of policy on a slow note. Rightly mentioned that 1st April 2025, government has very ambitiously announced the EPR policy, which is called the Extended Producer Responsibility. That means that as a producer of automobiles, which is our main business, 20 years before whichever car I produced, however number of cars I produced, 8% of the steel of that car I have to recycle by the end of this financial year. And this number will keep on increasing from 8% to 9% to 11%, so on and so forth. Then in the EPR, there is another policy that you have to recycle the oils which is coming at our workshops. You know, we are servicing many cars, so there is an oil. So how to consciously dispose that oil, that's part of the EPR. How to dispose of the batteries, that's part of the EPR. How to dispose of the tires, that's part of the EPR. So yes, in India, the laws have started coming in. Government is working very strongly on that. Honorable Prime Minister 2 years back had already announced that India will be net zero carbon by 2070. At Hyundai Motor Group, we have already announced that we'll be carbon neutral by 2047. So we are actually, 13 years in advance in terms of what the Indian economy is talking, and this will be a global. But at the other end, what I'll say, because the Western economies have actually understood the importance of waste management a little early, because they started facing these problems 20 years back. And the laws have already, see, we were the late ones to adopt to Euro 6, Euro 7 norms. But now we are at par with the global standards. We are now talking of Euro 7 by 2027. It means in terms of our environmental consciousness, there's a lot of thought which is happening. I'd like to just give you a very good example of how our international collaboration and our technology, which we've been talking, we have been, and I think it also relates to what Mr. Yashwant is doing. He was talking of the problems in the high seas, how the pollution is coming and how. So what we did, 2021, I remember, we are actually a global company. We're doing business in Europe, US, Korea, so on and so forth. What we realized that the high seas, or the majority of these areas, are getting polluted by the waste which has been discharged into the seas, which largely includes plastics, and it also includes discarded fishing nets. Now, these fishing nets are a big threat to the marine life, because once a fish or some marine animal gets entangled in that, normally they will die over there. And lot of plastics will keep on entangling over there. So in 2021, we launched a program called Healthy Seas. This Healthy Seas is running into 3 countries, America, Europe, and Korea. Under Healthy Seas program, we have tied up with a company which is a European company called Aquafil. If I remember the name right, yeah, Aquafil. Aquafil is a company which has a technology to produce synthetic yarn. So what we did, we have worked with Aquafil, and we have collected all these waste fishing nets which have been discarded into the high seas. These fishing nets are being given to Aquafil, who is converting them into a fiber, or a nylon fiber called EcoNil. This EcoNil is then reverted back, and all our future cars like the Ioniq 5, Ioniq 6, the carpet floor mats are being made from that EcoNil plastic, which is coming from this. And this program now we are extending, and now that we've come to know about this organization, we'll see if in India also, if these fishing nets and plastic bottles at the high seas are becoming a problem, we can think of extending this program of Healthy Seas into India also. So that's one part of the technology. So what I say is that these are all open models. Today, anybody can adopt this model. This ecogram, we actually showed it to the Gurgaon administration. Mr. Nishant Yadav, who was the Development Commissioner, DC of Gurgaon, he inaugurated that plant and he was very happy. So we are ready to share this technology. Yes, for us, there is obviously a cost involved. Because the challenge which you said about the policy is that the policy has lot of challenges in terms of logistics. Sometimes the output of these initiatives are so expensive that, for a normal company or an organization to adapt this model, it also becomes a question of a viability, whether they should do these activities or whether the normal traditional activities are also cost effective. Therefore, once the experiment becomes successful, then it is very important that it should be replicated. Now, this ecogram was so big success that we were approached by Municipal Corporation of Guwahati that can you do this program in Guwahati, and they allotted us a land just in the month of February. And we have now got the land, the construction has started. I am very happy to share that by September this year, the Ecogram 2 will come in Guwahati along with the Municipal Corporation of Guwahati. So wherever possible, we are taking these baby steps, and we are opening it to the world through media, through various platforms, so that people can come to know of the technology. These are simple technologies, they are scalable technologies, they are replicable technologies, and they are meaningful technologies. I also run a program which is called Sparsh Sanjeevani. Now, although not relevant to waste, but I'll tell you the importance of that program. This Sparsh Sanjeevani, as you all know, what is Sparsh means touch, Sanjeevani means life. And we are going back to, when Lakshman was Murshid and then Sanjeevani Booty came. So our target by this Sparsh Sanjeevani program is to bring back life to the rural people. And this idea came to us in 2021-22 when COVID was there at the peak. We realized that people in the bigger cities have good approach to these hospitals, big clinics, big medical centers. But what about people in the rural areas? They do not have money. Secondly, for them to go to, say, a person in Lakshmangarh village in Rajasthan, if he has to go to Jaipur with his family and spend 3-4 nights to get treated in Savai Mansingh hospital, it will cost him around a couple of thousand rupees, not only to mention the time which he wastes. So we created an example of technology wherein we set up telemedicine centers. Now these telemedicine centers in 10 states, around 55 telemedicine centers have been put, where these rural people, they don't need to go to any hospital. They can just go to their village telemedicine center, trained physician and a nurse will see them. They will connect the doctor from Savai Mansingh on video call. The doctor will see them through teleconferencing, then through online, they will give a prescription and the medicine will be given from our telemedicine center. So not only we are able to connect them with the best of the doctors, but we are also cutting down on the carbon consumption, because this person would have taken a bus or a car, gone to Jaipur, stayed there, come back, spent money, spent time, and eventually got the same treatment which he got from the telemedicine center. We are further accentuating it with our mobile medical units, whereas medical vans are going to these rural areas, chobaras and all those village surroundings, and they are giving them medicine and all those treatment. Right. So, I mean, these are examples which have taken from the real life situation. We have worked with many hospitals, we have worked with many government organizations, we are working towards creating dense forest in India. With this year, we have taken a target of planting 1 million trees in Maharashtra only, to create, because Maharashtra Vidarbha belt is becoming very challenging in terms of water conservation. So we have done it with the Maharashtra government. Gadchiroli is one of our target areas. So we are doing lot of programs on pan-India basis. I mean, if we have maybe 2-3 hours of time, I can share all those programs. But yes, in the benefit of this, we all need to work collaboratively. I think Mr. Yashwant mentioned collaboration is the key to success. Government has their hands full. They are working on many, they also have to work on development. The policies which are coming, the EPR policy, the PLI schemes, these are anti-environment, but you can't do without development. If today EV is the call, EV has to come. Tomorrow hydrogen is the call, hydrogen has to come. So this development will continue, but parallelly how we as a society can learn from the global expertise, from the traditional expertise, and also from the hard work which is done by the organizations like Waste Warriors. I think we all need to create a model which is acceptable to the human of India. And we can become a better nation than the Western economies. And we should be very happy to say that yes, we have been able to make our country a green country.
Sure.
And all that is through collaboration and through mind work.
Very encouraging to listen to whatever Hyundai is doing, and really commendable work, I would say. It's obviously at the back of the kind of resources you have, but still the intent, the focus and the attention that you are having, it's quite commendable. With that, I would like, Vinod, if you could spend maybe, each one of you can spend a minute, not more than a minute, to try to just leave a last message that you want to with the group, and then we can take it from there. 1 minute.
फाइन. सो हडल्स हमें क्या आ रहे हैं सर्कुलर इकोनॉमी इंप्लीमेंट करने में. मैं कुछ एग्जांपल्स देना चाहूँगा आपको कि स्वजल एक परियोजना है अंडर स्वच्छ भारत मिशन. देर आर 6 blocks in Dehradun, and each block got 16 lakh rupees for infrastructure developing plastic waste management unit, and 5 they have returned back. कोई जगह ही नहीं मिली वहाँ पे. एक ब्लॉक में एक MRF बनाया था, 6 ने रिटर्न कर दिया वापस. उसका रीज़न ये था कि पहली बात तो जगह नहीं है, लैंड एलोकेशन नहीं है वहाँ पे MRF बनाने के लिए. दूसरा, पब्लिक प्रोटेस्ट करती है कि यहाँ आप कचरे का काम करोगे तो कचरे डंप साइट बन जाएगी, स्मेल आएगी, प्रॉब्लम होगी. तो 5 ब्लॉक को जगह ही नहीं मिली उस टाइम पे. ये बड़ा इशू रहा. एक ब्लॉक जो पर्यावरण सखी चला रही है, पर्यावरण सखी दे टेक एंड टू एंड अप्रोच. दे आर कलेक्टिंग फ्रॉम हाउस होल्ड, डोर टू डोर कलेक्ट करती है. क्योंकि पहाड़ की बात करो तो वहाँ बड़ी गाड़ी नहीं चला सकते, टेरेन है, वहाँ ई-लोडर नहीं चला सकते. डोर टू डोर सर्विस देते हैं वो, कलेक्शन करती हैं. कलेक्शन देन दे ब्रिंग टू द MRF. दे सेग्रीगेट द वेस्ट दे आर पिकिंग अप in 22 categories, and they are baling it and they are sending it to the for recycling. And the पर्यावरण सखीज दे आर ऑल्सो लर्निंग डीजल कार की कैसे वो पहाड़ में डीजल कार चला सकें, डीजल गाड़ी चला सकें, ताकि वो पूरा end to end management पूरा they can make sure only they can do.
Understood. What you're saying is
So,
basically that more resources should be given. I'm sorry, but I will.
Only one message: small action can change a big lead or big things. So we can implement small things while we are using disposal, while we are using, while we are thinking about environment, while we are thinking about our health, then we can implement a small things. क्योंकि हम लोग 140 करोड़ हैं और साल में पूरे करीब 65 मतलब million tons waste we are generating in India. So we have to be curious about that, and we have to be conscious about that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you could pass the mic to Yashwant. Very passionate statement, but unfortunately we don't have time. A message in a minute.
मेरा simple message है, like we have CSR, we should have ISR, individual social responsibility, because it's a behavioral problem. Secondly, consolidating our efforts through collaborations, bringing in more innovations. And third thing is, he was talking quickly, I tell you, when we talk about EPR, there is one person who is doing waste management on ground in a city. There is one who is doing in the mountains. There is one who is collecting from the water body. So he has got a logistic cost additional. I have got technology cost additional. But problem is that when draft came in, I was the only one went and talked to them. How can you give the same incentive to these three people? But they said you are the only one. So that is where we have to be honest about our own needs also,
sure.
Because this is for larger people actually.
Understood.
So the ISR, secondly policy interventions, and customizing the solutions actually.
Well, you're talking about ISR, it's a very relevant point, but since the time he has said that he's carrying a bottle and we waste bottle. I've not opened this bottle, I'm very thirsty. I'm trying to figure out how to... That's crazy. But, Puneet, if you could just help us close.
I think I already have said that, but I have two requests. One request is that, see, government is coming up with policies. We cannot always work with the government. We have to be, charity always begins at home. So if as an organization, as an individual, as a small company or an entrepreneur, we all know our predecessors used to live in simple world. If we can adapt all those natural policies, I think half of that problem will be solved. The second thing which I'm saying is that we should try to find innovations within the work what we are doing. And by that, just an example, see, today when we make cars, we are transporting it through trucks. But last couple of years, we have taken a conscious decision of transporting our cars not by trucks, but by rail freight. We have especially went to the railways. We have told them to create rail yards. And now last year, 26% of the cars which we transported from our Chennai factory to the rest of the country was all by rail freight. That could mean that so much of carbon footprints we have been able to save. Similarly, localization is very important. Rather than getting material from far off places or from the other boundaries, if we can localize our own and trial consumption, then also the carbon footprint gets saved, which we are doing. Largely around 90% of our products are now localized, although being a multinational company. So we cannot say that, okay, somebody has to bring it. We have to do this. Correct. This is our responsibility. This is our planet. This is our power. And this is our people. So if we understand the responsibility as a citizen and we work towards small way and everyone takes a small step, I think we can all reach that destination and we can ensure that our society becomes a noble society.
Sure.
That's one message which I want to leave to everyone.
I think that's a very powerful message that Puneet has shared. I think the biggest problem that the planet faces is that everybody thinks that somebody else will solve it. We have to solve it, and that's the message I think which is coming from this podium. Thank you very much for being in a very attentive audience, and extremely sorry that we can't take any questions. There is hardly any time left. Thank you so much for the time, and thank you so much for the opportunity for the organizers.
Yeah.
I'm thirsty.
Thanks to all our panelists and moderator for such a thought-provoking and inspiring discussion. Your insights have truly shed light on the path forward in building a circular economy and driving sustainable change. We now take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation to each of our distinguished speakers. I would like to request Ms. Neha to come on the stage to do the honors.
And Ashish. And Ashish, please join us. नहीं सर, थैंक यू. आपकी वजह से इतने बढ़िया डेलिब्रेशंस और डिस्कशंस हुए हैं जो बहुत ज़रूरी हैं. थैंक यू सो मच. And it's made on handmade paper. Yes.
So it's a pity that you are, giving me this souvenir for talking about what we should be doing.
And this is all natural stuff that has been created.
Yes.
This is
It's handmade paper. Yeah.
fish. Yeah.
These are the zodiac signs. They depict the zodiac signs.
No, if we don't act responsibly, we will
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So in fact, on the Madhubani painting, I just want to say we have been running a program since last 4 years called Art for Hope. And there we have till date given grant of 1 lakh rupees to around 166 artists from rural area. And all of them are creating these Madhubani paintings, some very beautiful art. Recently we did it in Bikaner House, where the Honorable Minister of Culture, Mr. Gajendra Singh Shekhawat came and he inaugurated that. So we are also doing, this is one of the area where we are promoting art for the rural people. How they can sell the art, how they can bring it to the global platform by teaching them, showing them YouTube, so that they can create and put the art on the bigger platform.
Wonderful, sir.
So
And
very
this
much.
is actually coming